Come here, bud. Come here. Have you ever felt out of control? Had a hard time slowing things down? Felt like you had to get everything done right now and as perfectly as possible? If you felt that way, you're not alone. I'm a therapist and I've been practicing for 12 years in the field of psychology, and I've felt that way a lot in my life. And I'll never forget when somebody wise came into my life and they shared with me the slogan, easy does it. Easy does it. And if you're listening to this today and you're looking for ways to slow down, you're looking for information on mental health, I want to just bring that simple, easy slogan to you today. Easy does it. You don't have to do things perfectly. You don't have to do things today. You don't even have to get it done next week. Now, you may want to, and some things in your life may be time sensitive, right? So I'm not sitting here saying don't have goals for yourself and don't prioritize your life. What I am sharing is that not everything needs to be so pressured. And I think what you'll find in your pursuit of mental health is that the more you take the pressure off of yourself and take the pressure off of being perfect, the more you're going to find peace and serenity in your life. And I really like those concepts, peace and serenity. When I was young, I wanted everything right now. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted everything to be in a really good spot. And you know what I found is that was really unmanageable. It actually led to a lot of chaos. Very rarely would I get things done the way that I wanted to get them done. And I think that's an eternal truth in life, is sometimes things are going to work out the way that they were going to work out. And you can be really talented in things and you can be really good at things, and that can have an impact on what you're doing. And so things may not turn out bad, but they may not turn out the way that you wanted them to exactly in your mind. And that's another, I think, encouraging part of life, is that you don't have to be so wound up in the outcomes. It's okay to let go of the outcome. And when I talk with clients, that's the predominant conversation. When I see someone make a shift from a chaotic place in their life or a place of distress and discomfort, that they're letting go of the outcomes. And we talk a lot in my clinical practice about easy does it. Easy does it. Hey, if today you just need to take things slow, if today you need a bit of a break, that's okay. Because the things that you need to get done will be there tomorrow. Right? And if someone's really pressuring you to get something done in your life, take a step back, take a deep breath, and approach it from a place of easy does it. It doesn't need to be perfect. If there is a time crunch, it doesn't need to be done perfect. And I like the concept of anything worth doing is worth doing messy, right? It's worth just getting it done. And I think that's another way of taking the pressure off of things. Just because something needs to get done right now doesn't mean it needs to be perfect. We're only human. We're only human. And that may be hard for some people to hear, but I'll put it in this perspective. I work with a lot of lawyers, right? And as I'm sure you could imagine, there's a lot of pressure on lawyers to get things done well, to get it done quickly, right? Because they're on the clock and time is money, and to get it done in a fashion that's clean and presentable and professional. And even with the lawyers on my caseload, when they come into me, they're wound up, they're really uptight, they have struggles slowing things down. And the first thing I remind them is easy does it, all right? Take it in stride. It'll get done, right? You can still do the things you need to do, and you can still meet the deadlines, but take the pressure off of yourself. Because what I find is that when people aren't taking it easy, the biggest problem is that they're being really hard on themselves. They've usually got a lot of scrutiny. They've got a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of pressures both externally and internally telling them that they have to be perfect. And if anything, I'd like to remind you today, you don't have to be perfect. The things that you do aren't going to be perfect, and perfection isn't the goal. The goal, if I had anything to say about it, and I'm sure any clinician had anything to say about it, the goal is to do it in a way that's fulfilling. A goal is to do it in a way where when you're done with the project, when you're done with the things in your life, when you've accomplished something, is to be at peace with it, to accept the outcome. And I've found in my clinical practice and in the years of practicing is easy does it is a really wonderful way to enjoy your life. It's a really wonderful way to slow things down and be an active participant in your life. You know, I'm not saying that everybody who employs that slogan has a perfectly calm and chill life. Well, that's just not life, and I can't say that for myself as well. There are times where things get moving really quick, right? But the name of the game, the objective, is not magic. It's rewiring the way that you talk to yourself. See, the way I used to talk to myself was, I've got to get this done. I've got to do this. I've got to get this project done. Why am I sitting around and relaxing when I could be doing this thing over here? And the reality is when I started to shift that and rewire it and say things to myself like, hey, buddy, easy does it. It'll get done. Right? It'll get done the way it needs to get done. When I started doing those things, life really slowed down. I started to enjoy life. I started to, really be an active participant in the things that I was doing. And I would encourage you to do the same, all right? If you in your life are struggling, all right, first and foremost, I would encourage you to reach out for therapy. If you're struggling with substance use and you have an unmanageable problem, and you're listening to this and you've listened this far, I want to thank you, and I would encourage you to find a 12-step meeting in your area. They're on every corner, whether it's Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. I would encourage you to find a 12-step program. If you're a friend or a family member of someone who's struggling with addiction, I would encourage you to reach out to the program of Al-Anon and find a meeting in your area. These recommendations that I've made are free in the way of 12-step recovery programs. And if those aren't things you're ready to do, then yes, I would encourage you to reach out for therapy, and that's more and more accessible these days. So those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear some of yours if you want to throw them down in the comments, and I think that's all I got for you today. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.